Okay, so what is a Deus Ex Machina and why do you need to avoid it when you're writing your comics? Well, a Deus Ex Machina is a storytelling term in Latin, let's get all fancy, which literally means God from the machine, and it comes from ancient Greece when the Greeks would put on plays of the Greek myths. And if you've ever seen a Ray Harryhausen film, you'll know that the protagonists of these stories will always get into a spot of bother, and then the gods would literally come out of nowhere and save the day. And when the Greeks were putting on these plays, they would literally lower an actor playing one of the gods, and they would lower him down in the winch, which is the machine, so it's God from the machine. Okay, so what's this got to do with your comic? Because your comic might not have any gods in it or anything like that, but that's the ancient version of the Deus Ex Machina. A more modern day interpretation of the term is basically anything in your story that comes out of the blue, is unexpected, and in a lot of terms makes no sense in your story, that saves your protagonist from certain death or a situation that they can't get themselves out of. And the reason why this is bad is because it's kind of seen as cheating, because it's allowing the writer to get their protagonist out of a sticky situation with ease. And the resolution from your plot should actually come from the plot itself, not actually from the cavalry turning up at the end of the comic, or in a lot of comics cases the character being miraculously brought back to life after making that sacrifice at the end. Putting a Deus Ex Machina in your story is also cheating the reader, because the reader has invested not only money but their time, following your character from page to page, from issue to issue. So throwing in a Deus Ex Machina to save the day is potentially going to give them an unsatisfying conclusion for all the effort they've invested and followed in that character. Now, I'm not saying you should never ever use a Deus Ex Machina in your stories. It's all about the context of the story itself, and sometimes you need to put them in there, but what I'm saying is if it comes out of nowhere and out of the blue, it's not going to work in your story. If you do want to use a Deus Ex Machina type god, or the cavalry coming in to save the day of your story, or your character is going to be regenerated at the end, you need to sow the seeds of that throughout the story, so when it does come up in your story, it's not a complete surprise and people go, that makes no sense to the story. You need to set it up from the start, and a bit of foreshadowing really helps that. So as well as foreshadowing, how else can we avoid putting Deus Ex Machinas in our story? Well, it comes down to you, the writer. Now, I'm talking way before you've even written your script and given it to your artist collaborator. This is going all the way back to what I've been saying for the last couple of videos. It comes down to your plot. You need to plot the crap out of your story from A to Z, and make sure that when you start writing, you are not going to write yourself into a corner where you need to rely on these convenient Deus Ex Machinas to get your character out of a sticky situation that's going to lessen your story. Okay, so if you don't know how to plot a comic, or you've never done it before, watch this video right here. It's going to show you how I do it. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.